Hello and welcome to MacFormat's weekly Apple Extravaganza. I'm Chris Finn.
I'm Matt Bolton.
And on this episode we talk about the Apple TV again.
Elon Musk.
And we also talk about football, which is going to be hilarious for anyone who knows me. I'm going to attempt to umpire a match? Referee a match.
He's not got off to the best start.
That's what to expect. Let's start though, as always, with news from the world of Apple. 5 minutes then, we start with the Apple TV again, and we're talking about the Apple TV as a gaming platform again. But did you read the nice little essay by Sean at the Icon Factory about... No, good. This is fresh to you as well. Yeah. He posited basically that one potential extension of extensions, i.e. in iOS 8 you have the idea of app extensions, but there's only a small subset of things that can be extensions. So web plugins, photo filters, that kind of stuff. There's, I think, 6 different things you can do.
Yeah.
One of the things he was positing is that Apple might introduce a new kind of extension, which is an AirPlay extension. And the idea that he's putting forward is that the Apple TV sitting there on your table beside your telly, if you're playing a game on your iOS device, essentially it would push that to the Apple TV to execute the code itself.
It would push the entire game?
Not the entire game, but the bits it needed for it to, essentially, effectively the entire game, to the Apple TV to run it, which would obviate your streaming lags between the device and between your iOS device and the Apple TV.
Yeah.
Both for video and for control lag as well. Actually, not for control lag. That doesn't work, does it? But certainly for the video lag.
Visible control lag.
Yeah.
Yes, because the current lag you get when you play Apple TV is the lag from beaming over the video rather than... The effect would be the same. Yeah.
And as a side note, he was also suggesting that one of the advantages of metal could be that thick layer between the game and the CPU having been reduced means that the games could even run potentially on the current crop of Apple TVs, the ones that are powered by a single core A5 processor. That's something of a stretch, but it certainly it makes sense that metal at least would make that process simpler. It would make that process possible even if it was stepped down in some way. And in fact, Gruber speculated that around this time or this time next year or whatever, very, very soon, we could easily see the A7 chip going into the Apple TV at the kind of cost that the Apple TV is. Yes. Which again makes sense.
That makes sense.
But the problem with the proposal, the idea, as I see it, is that the problem you're solving is a reasonable problem to solve, but it doesn't get us away from the fact that the Apple TV would be upgraded far less frequently than your iPhone for most people.
Yeah.
And as the iPhone's hardware gets faster and faster and faster, so its ability to play games is increased. And you in particular have always liked the idea of the Apple TV as a dumb box that just fronts onto that very, very hard, very capable hardware.
Yeah, if they can get AirPlay to be effectively lag-free, like the Wii U's controller, which is also based on Wi-Fi, then you don't need an Apple TV to do anything else. It seems like a waste of money for like consumers as much as Apple to be putting stuff in there that unnecessary.
There was another interesting point made by someone whose name I forget. Could it be Ben Thompson? Suggesting that the part of it was a really interesting thing to do with how markets work, and basically that once you've attracted an early adopter hardcore audience, you, to the detriment of the mass market, pander to them. And he was saying that that's what's led to the arms race between the PS4 and the Xbox One as they are now, because it's that hardcore gamers that you're trying to attract, whereas you're ignoring the possibility of the mass market and suggesting that the Apple TV is a good way to capture that mass market as a gaming device. Now, this guy was suggesting 2 different Apple TVs, a normal one at $99, I think, and then one at like $179 that was Apple TV plus gaming, which seems mental because Apple wouldn't do that. It would just be like, here's your thing. Oh, and by the way, you can also do this on it. When you're ready to try gaming, here's the App Store. You can do some cool stuff that way. One of the good things, by the way, about the proposition, the original proposition, is that you wouldn't have to build apps specifically for the Apple TV. games for the Apple TV. There would be extensions of existing games to the Apple TV. And also, if you bought stuff on the Apple TV and then as a standalone device, because you bought it as a home entertainment device, for example, and then bought some games, and then you bought an iPad or an iPhone, those games would still work because the Apple TV and this bit of it is an extension. Why are you grinning at me in that?
I was just thinking, I don't know how to respond to everything you've said
in 0
seconds.
1
second. You've effectively just told me loads of stuff for 5 minutes, and now we'll move on.
Happily, you can comment below the video and let me know what you think, as can you.
Yes.
However, let's move on
to the wider world of tech. Okay, so for the wider world of tech, we will talk about Tesla's patents that I don't know if you've seen.
They're now
happening
open.
Last night for us, sometime in the past for when you're watching this. Tesla has announced that it is not quite relinquishing control of all of its patents, but it is not going to charge you to use them. It won't sue you if you make technology that is exactly like it in my
supercar that I'm going to produce.
Your electric car.
Yeah.
The reason...
Can I ask one specific question? Because I didn't dig into the story when I saw the headlines. Is it just the patents relating to its superchargers? Or is it a broader portfolio of stuff?
They just said Tesla's patents.
Right. Maybe that's the only patents it has. I don't know. Because I know that its high-speed chargers are a big part of the value proposition of Tesla.
Yes.
And I think
I don't know if those are patented. Those could be someone else's technology. I don't know. It just said we are, in the spirit of the open source movement, opening our patents. Yeah. And the reason is, originally, Elon Musk says that he is largely not in favour of patents the way they are used today.
He used to be,
he says, but these days he's found them more of a hindrance than anything else. But they patented loads of stuff with Tesla because they were worried about the bigger boys coming in and stealing their lunch money.
But that really, really hasn't happened. The Detroit seems to just not care.
Well, no, the problem is it does care. It's the industry is doing whatever it can to basically hold Tesla back. Because there's things like Tesla wants to sell cars directly to customers, and the existing auto industry that's based on franchises, car
dealerships
that aren't owned by the car companies, they're effectively making it illegal to do what Tesla does. Or it was already illegal in lots of places, and other places are making it illegal, so that Tesla will have to go through places that already sell competitive products, which is sort of the problem Apple has had with Samsung, where Apple won't pay Phones for You, let's say, a kickback is not the right word.
No, it's certainly not the right word.
A stipend per unit it sells, but Samsung will quite happily offer a 50
call it a commission.
Per unit sold. So that's why Tesla doesn't want to go through the main dealerships.
And apart from anything else, Tesla, I imagine, is worried that put next to similar performance, which is a dodgy thing to say, but similar performance, petrol car at X thousands less, or even just it will appeal to the sort of muscle car mentality of the buyers, and it'll say, electric's rubbish, buy this.
Yeah. So basically, the reason they are making available their patents is they want to kickstart the electric car industry, because they thought they were going to just by existing, and they didn't. Yeah,
that's what I mean by Detroit not caring. I mean, the big auto industry has not responded. It's still it's got the cash cow of the internal combustion engine. It's focused on that, and especially in markets in the developed world, there's a lot of emotion in it about appealing to the power and the sort of manliness of like a straight six or a V8 or something.
Yeah, particularly in America, I think you probably could do it in a lot of Europe, especially the higher end German cars, where are often sold on their technological prowess anyway. But one of the interesting things I read, though, was someone saying, well, if you were a new car company and you used Tesla's patents to start making your own car, what you'd really need is the battery technology to back it up. And where's the only place you can get those batteries? It's Tesla. So perhaps it's there are still some business considerations
which is fair enough.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, other people could go ahead and try and make as good batteries if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Although Tesla is about to build a gigafactory, 1,000 acres of solar-powered battery churning out.
Which was part of the discussions we thought about when there was rumours of collaborations or mergers between Apple and Tesla.
Yes.
Obviously, a lot of Apple's future is tied up in batteries just because of the portable computing revolution, and that would make sense for them to be collaborating there. But the technologies are actually quite different. So I've read some very learned people saying that's not a goer, because even though it's lithium at the moment, the way they're actually being used and the yields and the power balance they're designed to provide are so very different.
Yeah, and I presume you might even build a battery that's big enough to fill a section of a car, and a battery that has to fit inside a laptop quite differently.
Yeah.
I can imagine the technology doesn't.
The decisions are being different.
1-to-1. But are you hoping that electric cars will finally take off? Or not take off, flying electric cars? That would be
great. Yeah, we're all hoping for that. So don't bother answering that question in particular.
But do you trust them as far as range and things like that, or would you prefer to stick with petrol power for now?
For me, it's just price. When we bought our last car, I really wanted an electric car, but we don't do enough mileage to get the benefits of driving the price down for the per mile charge of it to justify the higher upfront cost of the electric car, even with the government subsidies. I'm
always aware of it's a very American thing to just be able to plug in your own car in your own house.
Yes.
Because I live in a flat.
Yes.
Where would I be able to park my car?
Just cables strung everywhere.
Exactly, we can't.
All right, talking of carnage, let's move on then. Oh my God, to me attempting to, what was the word? What's the verb? Referee.
Yes.
A football match. Welcome then to historic Bath on this, the day when England plays in football.
No.
Maybe
on the day you're watching it.
What we have here are some little robotic football players that we are desperately, frantically trying to tie into the World Cup with. And Matt and Ian, who's hiding over there, but Tom will catch him, who's very nonchalant, are going to control these. Now, I know bugger all about football. Don't worry about me not knowing the offside rule. I don't know the other rules that are much more simple than that. But we'll give it a go, I think.
Chris, do you want to tell me what these are, or shall I?
Go for it.
The BY Kick B athletic robot.
They claim to be robot athletes, which I think is a little ambitious as a description.
That's because you haven't seen them run.
They connect via Bluetooth to your iOS device. They can be controlled by motion, but that's very difficult. So I think both of our athletes today are controlling manually. Let's give it a go. So, play football. And actually, well, we had Matt's being blue.
I'm Italy.
So he's being Italy, and we thought England might be playing in white. Is there a away strip? Is that right?
No, that's the regular strip.
That's a regular strip, viewers. That's who they're playing as. And so far, nothing is happening. Matt has pushed the ball slightly. But
we should say we're playing on quite a lumpy surface.
Which
isn't. No!
Ian's doing quite well, but I don't think deliberately. I think purely accidentally. Well, we're getting involved there. Lovely. Oh, let's see Matt position himself. I think that could be grounds for something. Position himself quite favourably there. But it didn't really kick it. It didn't come to anything.
I missed it.
You do get different colour strips for these things. Oh, foul! Surely red. Well, yellow card. Let's see.
You can't just run into me. Obstruction on your part, if anything.
I'm going to position you here. Is that a thing that might happen in football?
Yeah.
And play football. And these things apparently cost about 25 quid each, which is, but you have to buy 2 of them in order to be able to actually do this. Although they do also work for sumo and the game which is called Race, which, is just racing. Oh.
Yeah. Good work again.
So, which way am I shooting? You're shooting towards Matt. How long is a football match? 90 minutes? Let's try and keep this one to... Oh.
I don't know if we should try penalties. What are you doing with me?
I'm just holding you in place. That's it.
Oh,
No.
stop patting my behind.
Some colour of card for that, I'm sure.
And again.
What are you doing, Ian?
I'm going for the goal.
But you don't have the
need the
ball.
ball.
Damn.
And I think this isn't looking... Goal! That's 1-0 to Italy. Okay.
I'm just making sure it was right on the goal line. They're using goal line technology now.
We have cameras. Let's see. This right where Angus is.
Yeah.
We've
We've chosen to play on this uneven outdoor surface.
Matt says we, he means that I have chosen that they should be challenged with playing this.
It will probably be easier to control if we were smooth.
Not so good. I don't think the referee usually gets quite involved to this extent by picking up players and.
He did last night. Am I right, Tom? Yeah. Topical.
Good work.
You're like the cloud guy in Mario Kart.
This should probably
On the ball boy.
conclude in some way. That was a very elegant little kick. I don't think that's the sort of thing that referees really do. Commentate on the excellence or elegance otherwise of the. Oh.
The goal kick. Do we have to go get it?
I thought you could. I thought you could come and get it from like using your robots.
What have you seen today that made you think that?
That was a nice manoeuvring, Ian.
Hey, I'm not allowed to drive a car, you know.
I don't quite know how we're going to conclude this.
Well, I'm winning.
So you'd like us to conclude it quickly?
Yeah.
Is that?
I'm also going to win at sumo.
Oh, it's all done though.
I know I'm even I'm.
Right, next person to get the ball the closest to my hands.
I'm going the other way.
This isn't really much different, is it? I realise. The goals.
It's bigger, but it's
I
still
think
rubbish.
I think we've conclusively proved here that
This is my
Tom, leave them to it. I think old scores.
I'm just leaving it there.
The settling of old scores is still happening here at in Bath. We'll leave the action. Don't forget, of course, you should subscribe to the MacFormat YouTube channel at youtube.com/MacFormatUK. Check out previous episodes of this show, including our WWDC special, an hour-long special from last week, and subscribe, of course, to MacFormat's iPad edition. There's a trial subscription free inside MacFormat.com/iPad. But from me, from Tom, from Ian, and from Matt, and the two robots.
No! That's not. What?
It's goodbye from us. See you next week. We're talking pins, Musk, yes. Well, not Musk. That would be that would be odd.
Sexy Elon Musk.
Remember your timer.